Welcome
Oh, Jesus.
to a creepy, spooky episode of the Triple Scoop. It's me, Matt,
Okay, again, another unsanctioned.
and my ghost bride, Diana. Say hi.
Hi.
And Greg's here too.
Hey,
Welcome back.
we talked about the music on that one that time, and then the voice was all mad.
It was spooky. Anyway, I kind of sound like Dracula right there.
You
Anyway.
sound like werewolf bar mitzvah.
You sound like you want to be one of those like dangly Halloween things. Where did those go? They were everywhere.
Yeah.
Now I never see them.
In my parents' garage somewhere.
Yeah.
I think everything's in my parents' garage. Well, it is officially Halloween time in the great world that we live in, and we have decided that every episode in October is going to be related to something spooky, something scary, maybe something sweet. And today, just a bunch of haters over here. Today's topic is going to be ghosts.
Very fitting that I'm wearing my Haunted Mansion spirit jersey.
Hey, got it.
Disneyland.
Ghost host.
Yep. So,
Bar.
ghosts, they're spooky, they're scary, and most likely not friendly. So, who would like to start on ghosts?
I don't know why you said they're most likely not friendly.
They're not. Ghosts
You
are...
met Casper.
Well, first of all,
Idiot.
did you remember watching that in the theater, like, when you were a kid?
No.
Oh, man, that was a good one. I was more excited about Christina Ricci.
Yeah.
Hey.
Heyo.
Christina Ricci was in a movie.
Get some of that,
I don't know
Casper.
what it was. I know that I watched it.
Slide
way too
into
young.
that one there, Casper.
Oh, jeez.
Didn't she play Wednesday Addams too?
Sure
Yes.
did.
Yeah. But so she was in some movie. I don't know what it was, but again, it was way too young when I saw it. And there's like a part, and she's in a train station, and she's sitting in a chair, and like this person comes, and they're like so glad that they found her, and they like grab her hand, and her fucking head falls off.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really dark. I don't like that movie at all.
I don't even know what movie this is.
Me either, but it
I've never heard of it.
burnt into my memory.
Well, yeah, I can
Yeah.
see why. Especially to be seen at a young age.
Yeah. Which is a growing theme for me. And, you guys haven't noticed.
Well, at least an episode reference each
Yeah.
week. Have you had any ghost experiences? Either
Yes,
of you?
1,000,000% yes.
Probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
So, would you like to elaborate, or
Are you just
should I
gonna
ask
play
more
on your
questions?
fucking phone while we're
Yeah.
doing this?
I was looking for fun sounds.
Well, maybe do it before we start.
Ooh, Greg.
So you're just gonna make them?
I'm not really here. You're just like, oh, Matt just disappeared.
I have some pretty
Did you get the shits again?
It was a ghost poop.
I have some pretty good ghost stories that have been told to me. I have a couple that I experienced, but some.
Oh, it's Lucy.
What the fuck? Okay. So we're all at Matt and Diana's house. We're downstairs,
Oh,
and we
shit.
hear what sounded like furniture getting like jolted across a hardwood floor in like a screech noise. Right in our ghost episode.
Oh,
So
man,
that
and
was-
we're already on edge because of my ghost impression earlier.
Yeah.
It was the doggy door.
It was the doggy door, yeah.
Lucy's right here.
I just pictured a chair moving upstairs. Just, you know what I'm saying?
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it sounded
Man,
like.
that's fucking crazy.
Good timing, Liz.
Anyway, so yes, ghosts are indeed real. Anyone that has had an experience with a ghost will tell you for sure. I have not ever had I've never seen a ghost, I'll say that. But a lot of my family members have seen ghosts, and it's like not even like a question. Like, of course, like the way they tell the story, it's like definitely they did. But I did have an encounter with a ghost, or I would probably just a dark spirit in my old house when I lived with my parents. So set the stage. So I was 16, 17 years old. My parents went to the casino sometimes on the weekends, and my sisters were like out of high school, both, I believe, at that time, so they were out partying or whatever, and so it was just me at my house. Sometimes my friends come over, sometimes not, and but in this particular evening, it was like springtime, maybe early spring, and it would have been a lot creepier if it was Halloween time. But anyway, so I was just watching TV. My parents, of course, as parents do when they go somewhere and you're not invited, what do? They leave you money for pizza. So I had my pizza. I'm just chilling, watching TV, and I all of a sudden the whole house shakes because my sister's bookshelf, her big bookshelf in her room upstairs, fell over. All the books, I knew it was her bookshelf because all the books fell off first, hit the ground like a brrr, and then the big boom. Like seriously, it was the whole fucking house shook. It scared the shit out of me, and I'm like, everything started rushing through my mind. I'm like, okay, well, why did that happen? Why did the bookshelf fall over? And so I finally, after like, I was frozen, and so after like kind of mustered up the courage, because in this house, great house, a lot of good memories there, but you could always just hear like footsteps upstairs sometimes, and my family will confirm that. Like, it was just every now and again you would think like, oh, is mom home? No, just you could just hear a little, and so there was definitely some oddities and some real creepy stuff like that. But it was a great house to live in. But so finally I'm home alone. It's effing dark outside and everything like that. And so I grabbed one of my dad's canes and I walked up the stairs. And I'm like really tense, you know what I'm saying? Like you would see in like a horror movie or anything like that. I'm like investigating, and I love horror movies, of course, especially back then. So I was like, fuck, this is stupid, but I gotta go check it out. And so, one of the things that crossed my mind is like something crashed through the window and like knocked over the bookshelf or something like that, like a raccoon or something.
Yeah.
And I know, weird. Anyway, obvious as they do. Classic raccoons. #raccoons. So I walk up the stairs. I go to her room. I open the door to see what the damage is. My sister does not own a large bookshelf.
Fuck.
And I'm like, oh, it was a foregone conclusion that it was her bookshelf. I heard the books hit first, and I heard the actual shelf hit last, and that's what shook the entire house. And it's that shaking and that boom when something on an upper floor just kills. I mean, it just slams, you know what I mean? It's distinct. And so I was like, oh, it must have been in my parents' room. I looked at every room in the house. There is not a bookshelf to be found.
So you're saying nobody in your family reads?
No, but the amount of sheer and pure terror I felt in that very moment has only happened one other time, and it was when we almost died in a plane crash over the suburbs of Denver, Colorado. Yeah. I booked it out of that house, and I pieced the fuck out big time. Seriously. And I had to live in that house for another, 4 years.
Where'd you go?
I went to my buddy's house, I believe. But legitimately, when I realized I just heard this, felt this, experienced this, and that's not a thing that is here that could do that, done.
There wasn't, any trees that could have fallen?
Nothing. I heard if I pushed a bookshelf over, just like we thought that was the chair, because that's exactly what it sounded like. If I pushed the bookshelf over, you heard like it was a bookshelf, and that's where my mind went. Oh shit, her bookshelf fell over. What the hell is that about? Nobody owns a bookshelf like that in the house.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
Mm.
So that's the most direct experience I've had with one.
Yeah.
But other little experiences, weird noises, things like that. But yeah, that shit. Nope. And I don't do ghosts. Not even a little bit, because they're invisible. They can infiltrate wherever they want.
Yeah.
And that's not what I'm about.
Ugh.
I don't think I've ever had a paranormal experience.
Really?
Yeah.
I've had some small ones, like when we lived in this house on 3rd Street that was for sure haunted. It was built in the early 1900s, late 1800s. It's old as fuck. Mm-hmm. And the dining room light was on a dimmer switch, and it was a knob, and you had to turn it to get it to go on or off.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're all eating dinner, and we hear it click because the whole thing turned off for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
My parents' current house, there was a time I was the only one there, and I heard the door that goes into the garage open and shut. So immediately I'm on high alert. I get a gun, clear the house. Nobody's there. To this day, I have no idea what happened. When I used to live on Pine Grove, I was in bed and I heard a man cough in the house.
Jeez, that would be creepy.
Again, got my gun, cleared the house. Everything was locked. All the windows were closed. There was nobody in there. So like just random shit like that. A lot of my creepiest shit, you guys know, have been when I'm asleep, but
On the dating scene.
We can save that for later one.
That's fucked up. Well, you told me about your sleep paralysis before.
Yeah.
That kind of counts. Because
So
you see shit.
I only saw something once. So I've had sleep paralysis 3 times. Only saw something once, which was the last time. Sleep paralysis, if anybody out there doesn't know what I'm talking about, it's like you're awake and you're conscious, but you can't move. And like you feel like you can open your eyes, like you can see and you can hear, but you can't move. It's like the first time I had it, my mom left, and I'm on the couch and I hear like the door open downstairs, and I try and like yell mom to see if it's her, and I can't talk, and I'm not asleep, I'm not dreaming, I just can't physically move, I can't speak, I can't do anything, and I hear like footsteps coming, and they get to the stairs, and it's like coming up the stairs, it's like boom boom, and I'm continuously trying to like shout her name, and I like feel myself like I'm sitting up, and it feels like I've sat up, and I blink, and it's like I'm getting rubber banded back down to laying down, and then I hadn't moved at all. and it keeps coming up the stairs louder and louder, boom 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 boom, and I'm keep trying to like yell out to see who it is, and it gets to the top of the stairs, and it's like boom boom boom, and I like snap out of it, and everything is vibrating. It was like, I have no explanation for it.
I do.
What's that?
Demon.
Yeah.
I've actually heard Dr. Drew talk about sleep paralysis and visions during it, and it's like totally possible. I forgot what he had to say about it, but I heard him talk about it recently. So they like go hand in hand.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you... I wouldn't say like sleep paralysis, but I've absolutely been in bed and all of a sudden just get a very, like either half asleep or like, just wake up, get a very bad like vibe, very bad feeling where I like freeze. I remember specifically it was at one of our old houses, Diana and I, and she was sound asleep, snoring as usual, and I was just crippled and just terror stricken. I don't know what it was, but I woke up and I froze, like there was just someone watching me, like over the bed, and I was laying on my stomach and I just froze. I didn't move a goddamn muscle. I didn't do anything.
Were you unable to, or you just didn't?
No, I
decided not to.
I chose. I was like, maybe it was sleep paralysis. Maybe. Then I
They
thought
call
I
that-
had control because I was literally like so very still. And I was just, I'm not even going to try to move. Mm-hmm. At one point, I think I made sure I tucked my feet up a little bit just to be sure. And
I hate that feeling.
To this day, okay, I call it the burrito. So anytime I get into a bed, it can be in a hotel. Every night when I'm in bed, Diana hates it, but that's okay. She married me. That's her fault. I have to lift the covers up from like, because they'll drape over the side of the bed. I have to lift them up under my calves and then put it down so I'm in my own little hot pocket.
That sounds terrible.
This accomplishes 2 things. Well, whose feet are getting grabbed by ghosts? Not mine. Yeah. This accomplishes 2 things. One, I like to have a nice little pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a nice little thing. My little feetsies are protected.
And way too hot.
Well, it's not.
Okay.
Well, don't knock it till you try it. But the second thing is I can't be disturbed, whether it be a spider, a ghost, a snake, a homeless person looking to suck some toes. I can't.
Okay.
I can't be.
Specific?
Point is. Yeah, that is specific. Point is, I can't be. What?
You said Pacific.
I said, okay, whatever. I can't. My foot or my feet cannot be touched by anything you know, it's like that meme that I sent you that one time where your hands like hanging off the bed a little
Yeah.
bit, and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Or like when I'm down here in the middle of the night,
Mhm.
and then it's lights out, gotta go to bed. I have a little skip in my step when I go up those stairs. You know what I'm saying? It's just that little extra sense. Maybe I'm just a puss.
But like, so if ghosts don't care about like doors, why would they care about sheets?
Well, I don't know. First of all, I'm talking about a comforter. Okay. So.
Did I just ruin your day?
Not just a sheet. No, because it makes me feel very secure.
Yeah, good.
Fuck ghosts.
Yeah. Just don't think about it later, you know?
You always do that. You always try and make me scared about this kind of shit. It's so stupid. Anyway,
because I know that we think similarly and it's gonna work. But to be fair, I'm gonna be scared when I think about it later too.
Yeah. But no, I mean that's like the overall. That's my overall point. Is like whether it's sleep paralysis or not, everyone I feel like it's just like a human thing to be like. I don't know. Have you ever felt something like that?
Yeah, to where it's like you're not entirely awake, not entirely asleep, but you are aware of something that's making you unsure or tense up or just like in a state of tension, like and yeah.
It's
like unexplainable.
Yeah.
The second time I had sleep paralysis was also pretty fucking terrifying. So I was on literally the same couch, the same spot, same house. Everybody's gone except for me, and I was sleeping, and I wake up to the sounds of like plastic bags rustling, which would have been in the kitchen, which is like 15 feet behind where the couch was. Plastic bags rustling and cabinets opening and slamming. So I hear that and I try and get up, and it's the same thing, and I'm like, well shit, and I can hear myself breathing, and it's like a dog panting, like I'm breathing so hard, and putting so much effort into trying to move, and then I start hearing like really deep, like aggressive voices, but it's all gibberish. Yeah. Yeah, I wish all the listeners could see the face Matt just made. And I'm listening to myself breathe, and it's that same thing that I just talked about, where I feel myself sit up, and I blink, and I get slammed back down, and but I'm aware that I never really moved, and then so like it's mayhem going on in the kitchen, and I feel two fingers on my wrist, like so what you guys can't see, so I have just like one on each side of my wrist, because I'm laying like this with my hand up by my shoulder, and I feel two fingers do this, and I hear like a lady's voice, and it's really calming, and it's gibberish too, but she whispers to me, and then my eyes like snap open, and I'm laying down, and now my hand is like in the air, and then it falls forward, and when it hits the couch, that same thing was like an explosion, and everything was vibrating.
That's crazy, man.
No idea.
I think I want you to leave. Jesus. When was this?
They were both like 2014.
So recently, okay.
It's like 5 years ago.
Check. No, see, that shit's crazy. And I've never had any, like I said, I've never had any sleep paralysis. I think the only other thing that I had was kind of close was that other thing, but no, man, I just ghosts creep me the hell out. Because it's like, okay, if you have like burglars or something come to your house, or like a home invader, it's like they have to get through the door, they have to, you know, there's barriers.
Yeah.
Not with ghosts, man. And that's why we've talked about it before on the Movies podcast, Paranormal Activity.
Oh.
You can't fucking do anything about that.
Yeah.
I told you guys my sister's story of when she was in her closet.
No.
No? Oh boy. So I know that I've told at least a couple of the people that are going to be listening to this, but this is a good one. So my sister.
Shout out mom and dad.
Yeah. my sister, who I've talked about, she was into some dark stuff when she was younger, and she had.
Like terrorism?
No.
Oh.
She had her own Ouija board that she made.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'll let you tell that story.
Yeah.
No names.
And so she had her room, and her room was very dark. I remember she had a picture of Vlad the Impaler on her wall.
Wow.
Yeah, she was the shit. My sister's awesome. I love her. But so she's in her closet. She had this cool walk-in closet. This is upstairs in that same 3rd Street house, really old. She's in there, and she hears my mom call her name. So and it sounds like my mom's just in the room right outside the closet. So she like peeks her head around. My mom's not there. She calls. She's like, yeah. She calls out to my mom. My mom doesn't answer. She goes out of her room, calls out to my mom again. My mom doesn't answer. Goes downstairs. My mom isn't in the house. My mom is outside down another flight of stairs gardening. And my sister's like, did you call me? And my mom's like, no, I'm outside. Like, leave me alone. So my sister's obviously kind of creeped out. And she goes back up into her room and tries not to think about it. Goes back to whatever she's doing in her closet, which was something normal, like putting her clothes away or whatever. And she said that she was in there not for very long, and the door slammed, the light turned off, and like, you know, in the movie when you hear like like all the whispers, all the like
Fuck
different
you.
voices.
No way.
Swear to God, she couldn't get the door open. And as quickly as it came, it went away. Light came back on. She got the door open, and then she disposed of the Ouija board and put her dresser in front of the closet.
Did you get rid of that Ouija board?
Yeah, we don't have
You
it.
swear to God.
Yeah.
I made her get rid of it.
It's good.
Yeah, because it's...
It was like a Mattel one.
It doesn't matter what brand it is. Hey, buy Mattel. We're not haunted. I made her get rid of the Ouija board that we had because it's just not... I don't want it in my house. You swear to me right now.
Yes, I swear.
Wouldn't tell them about
Are
our
you-
Ouija experience. Not Luigi, not Mario Luigi.
Are you? Can you be more specific? Is it the one?
The only time we've ever Ouija'd.
I just want to. Is it? Were we at the apartment?
Just tell the damn story.
Well, I just want to
Yes,
make sure.
yes.
Okay.
I hope I'm the guy that was there with you. Jesus. So back then, Matt was a black guy, and
Stupid.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
yeah, nothing wrong with
I
that.
want to say, was it around Halloween? See, I'm
Yes,
kind of,
it was.
I'm kind of foggy on the details.
Just
so,
go ahead.
It was around Halloween. We were with 2 other couples. Correct me.
This guy.
Stupid. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of these facts. Okay. We were with 2 other couples.
Mm-hmm.
We were at an apartment, and we decided to play with the Ouija board.
It's like 2007.
Yeah, 2007, 2008-ish. So we get the Ouija board out, and we start asking it questions and stuff. And I mean, I'll be honest, I had my fingers on the the part of the triangle.
Placard.
Yeah, and I swear I wasn't moving that shit.
Samesies.
And we were asking it questions, and the ones that stood out for me were the people that we were with. Matt and I had just met months before. The other 2 I was friends with for probably less than a year. You know, just kind of hung out with them on my own. They didn't really know my family that much. And so when we were asking it general questions and stuff, the one question that kind of resonated with me is we asked it, what's my dad's name? What's Diana's dad's name? And so it started moving, and as I think most people know with the Ouija board, it spells it out. Well, most people know my dad as Mike or Michael, that kind of thing. It spelled out Miguel, which is his actual name. And so I was kind of, shit, like that kind of is what stood out for me. I think Matt has a few more details about like that experience. Can you elaborate? I just really don't remember very much from it.
Not really. It made you cry at one point.
Did it?
Yeah.
I don't even remember that.
I can't remember why, but the Ouija boards, dude, they're real.
Yeah, they're fucked up.
Really. You swear to me right now you got rid of it.
Yes. I swear on...
You told me that once upon a time and I found it. And I was
don't
pissed.
have it. I don't
Yikes.
have it anymore.
Yeah.
What if she
Yeah,
didn't
I
keep
know.
it?
I know. What if she did and it just keeps coming
What if
back?
you didn't find it?
Like
It found you?
Jumanji.
Oh, jeez.
If I find it again, I'm burning this place down.
The best story I've ever heard. And
Jungle Book?
And I believe,
Oh.
and I believe it involves a Ouija board. It was my nephew's dad. Shout out to Phil.
Does he listen?
Probably not.
Well, then don't shout out people that don't
Well,
listen.
you might. You know. So he said he was. I think he said he was like maybe late high school, maybe early 20s. Him and 2 of his friends were in this house, and it was a creepy house. He told me that when he was younger in the same house, I think he said it was his grandparents' house. There was like a back storage room everybody, like most houses had the room that nobody uses, whatever. And he said his grandpa told him to go get something back there. And he went back there, and he said that there was a guy in the corner, like holding his knees like this and smiling, like,
oh jeez,
with his hair slicked back. And he like yelled and ran to get his grandpa, and there's nobody there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Was
But
it
that's
an
not
old
the scary
house?
story, huh?
Was it an old house?
Yeah, in Portland. So years after that, him and his friends are there. There's a, you know how every house has like the creepy room that you just avoid? There's
Yeah.
just bad vibes about it.
What room is that in our house? Is it the bathroom?
Back corner.
Just because it's so far away from
Probably,
everything.
yeah.
And dark.
Yeah.
Like
So
what
they-
Greg pointed.
Yeah. So they were all playing poker. One of their friends was down. I think he said like $50. And when you're late high school, $50 is a lot of money.
$50 is a lot of money anytime.
I mean, sure, but
Sorry, Mr. Rockefeller.
wait for the rest of the story.
Jesus
Wait for the
Christ.
rest of the story. So he's down like $50 and he's bummed about it. And they're like, hey, and so sorry for the formatting of this story. I'm really fucking this up. So
So we need a new host.
in this same house, they would mess around with another homemade Ouija board. And
Homemade?
yeah. And they would use a shot glass as their placard.
Jeez.
And so they said that there was two spirits. There was one that would go in like a really calm oval, and there was another one that would go really fast in a figure eight. And the oval one told them if the figure eight one comes to close the portal and don't interact with them. So Phil believed in it. One other friend did. The friend that was down $50 did not. They had the creepy room downstairs, and they said if you go in that room, I think they said for an hour, with the Ouija board on your chest and the shot glass on top of it, and lay on the bed, you don't owe us $50. So he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'll do that. This shit's not real. So they said that he goes in there and he's laying on the bed. He's got the thing on there. And they said you can't get up from the bed. You have to stay there the whole time. He's like, yeah, whatever.
For an hour.
Yeah. And so he said they wait maybe like 5-10 minutes, and they open the door like really suddenly to try and scare him. He's like, what are you guys, like, get the fuck out of here. And so they're like, oh, okay, whatever. And they wait like another 5-10 minutes, and they do it again. And they said that he's not as, like, he seems off, and he just like sits up and he's like, go, just go, like, get out. And they're like, fuck, man, all right. Like, they think that he just like wants to get it over with. So they leave and they go upstairs, and so Phil said that he's sitting there and he can't get this vision out of his head of this like terrible thing, like this vile evil thing floating over their friend. And like right when he goes to tell his friend about it, like bring it up that what he's seeing, his friend tells him the same thing.
Jeez.
So they go down and they knock on the door, and they hear like a door close and like a scuttering, like feet shuffling, and then shh, and they open the door and like they start to laugh and think that they're gonna catch him running from the closet to the bed, and he's out. Like completely passed out. They go up and like wake him up, and they're like, what was that? And he like wakes up, he's like, what are you talking about? Like, what was that noise? Like, what, who said shh? He's like, I haven't seen you guys for like an hour. He hadn't interacted with them in his memory since the first time they went in.
Jeez. That's nuts.
Yeah.
I want to know who makes a homemade Ouija board. Apparently a lot more people than I realize.
How about fuck you, Greg? That was a terrifying story. Jesus. Golly.
So he tells me the story. I'm terrified of this house. I never want to go to this house. Me and my friends go there for a spring break, like go to Portland to visit my sister for a spring break when we're 17.
And to catch some strange.
No. And so like the last night that we're all staying there, we go to Phil's house to party, and like I got annihilated. And like when I'm like at my peak drunk, he's like, oh, this is the house.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You're like, what?
Terrified.
This is the room.
Yeah.
Well, there were a lot of people there, right?
That night, yeah. Yeah, so it wasn't as creepy, but didn't really want to be there, you know?
That's craziness.
Yeah.
I don't do well with shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm actually like really
disturbed right now.
That sucks. Are you kidding me? No, thank you.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm glad you told me the story, but fuck, man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's a good one.
The one that I heard that goes through my family tree a lot, like at family get-togethers and stuff like that. My uncle, he was born with a twin, and that twin, in like the 60s, that twin unfortunately died, and so he was the only surviving twin of the two. And so I think it was in like the 70s or the 80s or something like that, and they're all grown up at this point, like teenagers, college age kind of a thing, if I remember correctly. And so we're talking like late 70s. And so they're downstairs playing pool, and my other uncle who married into the family, he gets to the house, and it was my grandma and grandpa's house, and he goes in there and he sees my Uncle Tim laying on the couch, just having a nap, just kick back, arms behind the head, just whatever. And he wakes him up, and he's like, "Oh, hey there," and he's like, "Where's everybody?" He's like, "Oh, downstairs." And so he's like, "All right." And so he goes downstairs, and it's an older house, so like it just has that main stairwell. There's like no other way up, out, whatever. Anyway, he goes down there, and he sees everybody. He sees my other uncle, a couple other people, and he sees my Uncle Tim down there playing pool. And he's like, "Hey, how'd you do that?" He's like, "What? How'd you do that? You were just taking a nap." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" He ran back up the stairs. No one on the couch.
Fuck.
Stands by it.
Man.
Told the story without any changes or anything like that for as long as I've been alive. Isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Don't that same uncle and your aunt, their house is haunted?
Yeah.
In Denver?
They live in Denver, and apparently friggin' everyone's seen him. I have never seen him, thank God.
The twin?
No.
Oh.
Twin, he's a good soul. This
that
person,
was in Pocatello.
yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Their house, and they still live there. Don't know why. They have been haunted by a guy in a trench coat and a fedora for as long as I know, and it's just they call him Scary Larry.
Oh. Shouldn't name him.
They did.
That's a fact. You should not name it.
Well,
ever.
they did.
Yeah.
And it's now it goes between houses now. Apparently, it followed my cousin over to her house and it would mess with the lights and stuff like that. They're just used to it. They're just fucking used to it. My sister and nobody from my immediate family, I don't believe, ever saw him until like a few years back. My sister, she saw him, and she's like, clear as day. There he was. Yeah. Ran back in the house to get something while we were down there visiting, and there he was, trench coat, fedora.
Yeah, do your best not to use his name.
Thanks, bud.
I'm just trying to help out.
I'm just saying that's what they, and it's just like really, yeah. You're not gonna move out at that point. It's just a part of their lives now.
Fuck that.
Yeah, my uncle's like, oh, I see him every now and again. Yeah, haven't seen him in a while. Blah blah blah.
He just walks past and goes, "Hey, Lair."
But seriously, like, that shit's crazy.
Fuck that, yeah.
And I told my sister, I was like, I mean, whatever. You didn't. Mm-hmm. She's like, no, I saw it.
Yeah.
And it's like he doesn't do anything but like mess with stuff and all that, but it's still. No thanks.
You know, they have like ghosts. What do they call them? Where they're just like they're on the same pattern every time.
Why do we pick this topic?
It was your idea.
I know, right?
Like, do you know what I mean though? Like, what do they call them? There's a name for it.
It's same pattern.
Yeah. So it's like people see him going like he just walks out of this doorway and walks down the hall and goes into this door.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And that's what he does every time. It's like I have a theory that like ghosts like that. It's like what people are really seeing is just like a weird fold in time.
Yep. Or dimension.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever thought of that aspect of it.
I think that's got some truth to it.
Yeah. I like that.
Interdimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like
it's really gonna piss me off that I can't remember
the
what that's
reason
called.
like lights flash and stuff too? You think? Like
Could be, yeah.
Interdimensional.
Kind of goes back to when we did our space topic a couple weeks ago, that you think about like different dimensions and things like that, and that theory of a rip in time or a rip in dimensions could potentially play a part.
People say that like small children are really in tune.
They're really receptive
to that kind of thing because their minds are more open.
Yay.
And like when they get to the ages of like talking and playing on their own and that kind of thing, there'll be a lot of like kind of crazy situations that kids that age shouldn't really be able to come up with on their own. That they'll be like, I was talking to the man with the fedora and the raincoat. Like.
Jeez.
When we lived in California, our neighbors, I don't know if they were like right next door or maybe a couple houses down, there was like parents and they had some daughters. They like one of the daughters was like 3 or 4, and they had a grandma that had recently died, and the 3 or 4-year-old daughter, anytime she like had to go, she wasn't tall enough to reach light switches. So if she was going to go to the bathroom, she needed somebody to turn the light on for her and off. So they said that she goes to the bathroom and the light goes on and she does her thing and opens the door and the light goes off and she comes out and then so it like occurs to somebody and they're like, hey, well, how did you who turned the light on and off for you? And it's like, oh, Grandma. And they're like, what? And they're like, oh, Grandma was in there. She did it for me. And they completely so.
We'll see you next week on the Triple Scoop. Jesus fucking Christ.
They took like a family
We're
picture.
gonna talk about bunnies and rainbows.
They took a family picture in front of their house, and there's like a glass like screen door in front of the front door.
Come on, man.
Grandma was in the
Fucking
picture.
God.
They were on Oprah or some shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Shit.
I know, I can't, dude. My family's obsessed with those ghost shows, and then and then I have to hear stories of, I heard a noise, and it was so terrifying, and all this stuff. It's like, well, that's what you fucking get for watching all this ghost stuff. Seriously.
They had like those haunted tours and stuff where you could go
Nope.
to hotels that are haunted.
Nope.
And I think there was somebody that I work with went on like a haunted tour of like New Orleans.
Oh,
Like that would be like
man, that'd be nuts.
like some of the, especially like
Yeah.
East Coast where like these places have
Some
been
history.
here a lot longer.
Something like that in Europe.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah.
No, because Europe, I mean, yeah, Europe definitely has some ghosts, but see, I feel like North America has some real primal shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like Europe was
Vlad Tepes wasn't very primal.
No. I'm saying like Europe's all of Europe's stuff has really been kind of because we were over there, humans were over there for so much longer. We've only been over here. Well, I guess Native Americans and all that stuff, but we've only been
Don't
over.
count them.
It's only been really, really populated for not even 300-400 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm just saying that there's probably some shit over here that was pretty.
So you're thinking non-human haunts here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there they
100%.
got a fuck ton of ghosts because they've had way more people.
Easily.
Yeah.
But also some non-human types. Think about Indian like myths and legends and mythos and stuff like that.
Skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers.
Pet Sematary.
Holy shit. Oh, well, did you ever listen to that podcast called Lore?
I told you about lore.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Sorry.
It's a good
Sorry
one.
for getting defensive. Thanks, Alyssa.
If anyone wants to listen to just a wonderful podcast, I love it so much. It's very creepy. It's very, very, very interesting. It's called Lore, just Lore. Look it up. It's amazing. But they bring up a lot of these tall tales and these like stories and myths of shit that's just happened in all around the world, of course, but especially in North America, like the New Jersey Devil, which is like a friggin' like a bat man. Not Batman, but you know what I mean.
He's from Gotham.
Stupid. We talk about ghost ships.
Yep.
They talk, dude. It's some and
I love lore.
But it's like legitimate stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like aliens, dude. Like it's real, 100%. I mean, you can't have all this stuff. And I've personally experienced it. You've personally experienced it, and Diana hasn't. But I mean, but
Maybe someday.
Well, thanks.
Knock on wood.
And we're just gonna go burn some sage.
Burn the house.
Do you remember we watched an episode of House Hunters one time, and this person that was buying this house was very concerned about hauntings and bad omen and bad spirits through the house. So they hired this lady. It was a lady, right?
Medium or something.
It's always a lady. It is. You never see a man medium.
No, she wasn't a medium. She was like a home cleanser.
Oh.
So she came through the house.
She was a maid.
No, like a spiritual cleansing. she came through the house and burned sage and did that kind of stuff. And then she's like, we can tell if there's any areas of negative energy. And she takes this thing, which looks like 2 wire coat hangers, and she's holding them like they're
Dowsing
like
rods?
intertwined. I don't know what they are, but she's holding it kind of like in a triangular thing, and so she's holding it, and they go around, and there's like one part in the backyard, and she's like, oh, like she pushed them together. It looked so fake. We were dying laughing, like, but the person totally like believed
Oh,
it
yeah.
that they like
Well, okay.
got rid of the bush or like got rid of something in the house.
That she got rid of the bush?
Stupid.
What are you talking about?
No, the homeowner was like.
They got rid of the bush.
Yeah.
Oh, the bush that like caused her to.
Yeah, it's like, oh, jeez, we
This
gotta
is a
get
demon
rid
bush.
Well, first of all, ghost hunters they're all full of shit. They all do it. All these ghost shows and these mages, mediums and sages and all this other stuff. Mages. Oh man, with their magic staffs. But they're all just full of shit, and it's like the TV shows. It's like, oh, something creaked. You hear that? And then let's get the heat vision out.
Yeah.
And that's just some bullshit of some guy that's obviously in like a denim jacket, like walking by the camera or something like that.
Yeah.
It's something stupid. It's just like, man, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
But ghosts and shit, like the spirits and all this other stuff, 100% real. I mean, you have to. There's no way you can't. Even if you've never had like a direct experience, there's too much shit out there for you to not think that it was.
There was a show on for a while that was celebrity ghost encounters or celebrity ghost experiences and stuff like that, and they had some pretty interesting stories because a few of the celebrities that they interviewed, it was like old timey Hollywood like type stuff, like it was older ones, and I don't know why, I just kind of find those type of paranormal things more intriguing.
I can't get enough of those shows. I love them.
Ugh.
I know.
Serves
Do you
you
guys-
right for having all these nightmares and shit.
Do you guys know about? Well, my nightmares are way different than those.
Just saying.
Do you guys know about the haunted cemetery in Spokane? It's called the Evergreen Cemetery.
I don't step foot on cemetery grounds.
Lights are flickering.
That's just what they do.
Yeah, sure. So we
I asked my electrician about that, and I said, so is my shit haunted? He said, no, that's just with those dimmer switches. That's what they do, and he's a really nice guy.
Yeah. So me and my friends heard about it. There's this part, it's called the 1,000 Steps. It's not 1,000 steps, but they say when you walk up them, you can hear things running up and down them beside you, and there's like a pressure on you that makes it feel like so much harder than it should be for how many steps there are.
Like you're walking up 1,000.
Yeah. So we hear about this and we're like, let's fucking go. Let's jump some fences. Let's get in there after it's dark out. So the day that we decide to go, to this day I've never seen the moon that big in my life.
Supermoon.
Yeah, it was fucking insane. And
You're stupid.
so we go out there and we're following the directions, and this was long enough ago that we had to print out MapQuest. Like, so we're driving around Spokane. The real threat at this point is just getting shot or stabbed by a tweaker.
Yep.
And we're like, where is this place? Like, this is sketchy as fuck. And we come around this bend, and there's this giant white cross on the mountainside, like all lit up. And we're like, oh, found it. Okay, here we go. And like we do a dry run, drive past the cemetery and like look in there. And at that point, I tap out. I'm like, I'm not going. I can't do this. And my friends are like, dude, come on, like we're all the way out here. We have to. And I was like, I'm not going to. I'm gonna stay at the car.
By
You guys-
yourself.
I know. So you guys can do it. I'm gonna chill here. So it was so fucking sketchy. So we can't just jump the main fence, you know. That's too obvious. So we find the side road. And it's like,
Matt's having a hard time.
The bridge that the
I don't do
trains-
ghosts, man.
The bridge that the train goes on in Spokane.
Yeah.
It's under that. The
Fuck
side street
you,
is
Greg.
under that. It's a clear sky, huge
Such a
full
creepy
moon.
area, dude.
I'm in my 96 Cadillac Sedan DeVille on the side of the road. My friends have to, like, they jump one fence into, like, this industrial, weird, like, warehouse area.
Oh, you
and
mean
then
Spokane?
Yeah. And then have to jump another one to get into the cemetery.
Shit.
So they do that, and I'm at the car, and I'm just fucking chain smoking, look like a chimney, because I'm so scared.
Nervous, yeah.
It's like I'm either gonna get possessed or I'm gonna get shot,
Or kidnapped, as we know.
kidnapped. Yeah, police are gonna arrest me because I'm 17 and I'm smoking, and so like they're in there, not for very like they probably came back 25 minutes later because they like once they got real they got fucking scared.
Yeah.
So they came back, and we actually found a pretty cool view that like looks over. That's not important. But like we're driving back, and like we have the radio off, and we're all like talking about like how fucking sketchy all that was. And I'm not joking. We're driving, and we get under a street light on the freeway, and so like a street light, it goes up, and then there's a light on either side.
Yeah.
And then there's a light on either side on the other end of the lanes.
Yeah.
All 4 of them go out, and the radio turned on. And we all just like screamed.
Oh my
And
god.
kept going. I was like, okay, well I'm never going back there, ever. They did. They got a bigger group and they went back, and they said that they all saw, like they saw this. It looked like a kid in a white shirt by one of the graves.
Yeesh.
And they're like, but we think it was just like a real kid. I was like, that's not less weird.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, so Evergreen Cemetery, Spokane, it's still there. Have fun.
I don't step foot in cemeteries.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of fucking dead people in there. Why would I want to hang out there? Why would I want to step foot? Even driving by
quiet.
the one here in town, I'm just like, just a bunch of dead people just to the 10 feet from me.
That one on Government downtown.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
It's pretty. It's really pretty.
Real pretty. Pretty scary.
You should take a walk through there.
No.
They have graves from like the 1800s.
Yeah, sweet man. Bones. Just fucking
Yeah.
bunch of bones down there.
Yeah.
Yeah. No thanks, bro. There's that cemetery we saw today.
Yeah, have you seen oh my god, it's off Celtice.
It's like
Yes.
a mystery cemetery.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that about? I've never
I don't
seen
know,
it.
dude.
It's like
Why
an
do you-
old. There's like a when it's like a historical
Let's go to the
sign.
cemetery, you fucking retard.
I didn't go in.
You did the other one. Oh, you participated.
I
You
drove
go-
out there.
But
Yeah.
still.
I probably did the most sketchy thing. Well,
Sat
actually, I
in the
guess
car.
if I didn't stay there, my car could have gotten stolen.
True.
Spokane.
Very true. Any other ghost stuff you want to talk about, Matt, or your Pantaluna is scared?
I mean, I'm already like soiled as far as that's concerned. No, ghosts freak me out, dude. I don't mess with that shit. Because I mean, I know it's for sure real, and that's that. Some people are like, oh, it's not real. Blah, blah, it's just it's just jazz. I said, no, fuck that, dude. It's so real.
Yeah.
And so I don't mess with it. I no Ouija's, no nothing. I don't even tempt that.
So-
I rarely will I watch anything about a ghost unless it's like the Ghost with Patrick Swayze. And even that scared me as a kid.
Have you ever heard of the Old Hag?
Come on, Greg.
We're doing the ghost podcast.
Oh, no, go ahead, man. I'm just spooked.
This is your topic.
Spooked.
So they say that like sometimes they like tie it in with sleep paralysis. But so what made me think of it was when you mentioned like feeling a presence and not wanting to move.
Mm-hmm.
So they said that like it feels like there's somebody like sitting on your chest and you can't move. And like so in sleep paralysis, sometimes you hallucinate, and sometimes people see this old woman that's like holding you down, like trying to suffocate you.
Well, that happens from time to time around here.
You're so stupid.
Okay, I am familiar with the Old Hag. Right?
I hate you.
And I'm back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. Jesus. Well, on that note, if anybody has any paranormal stories or things that they've experienced, make sure you go and visit Matt Briggs.
Hey.
Yeah, tell Matt all the stories.
Yeah.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
What do you know about skinwalkers?
Dude, this whole fucking... I'm with you. I've listened to lore.
Yeah.
And I've watched all these fucking movies.
Yeah.
Fuck. Do you know
what-
about
no, I don't know what
skinwalkers?
Oh boy.
Skinwalker is.
Okay. So skinwalkers, most people tie them to like Native American witch doctors, but they're like
Yeesh.
they're not good. Like there's like the witch doctors that are trying to heal, and these ones are just they're skinwalkers. So they can like turn into animals. A lot of times skinwalkers are described as like kind of like bipedal wolves with like really long gangly arms. And they can like mimic people. They can mimic sound.
Fuck. Imagine. Oh Jesus H. Imagine being in the woods and you just
Yeah.
saw this gangly fucking werewolf.
It's like that fucking chimpanzee that walks like a
Cool
human.
it on the language, man.
Have you seen that?
Uh-uh.
Sorry to deter, but that shit's creepy as all hell.
So so every time anything I've ever read about skinwalkers, the same things that come up are silence, like they say when a predator's near, it's like eerily quiet. That's true for like mountain lions, bears, all kinds of shit. Like if you're in the woods and you notice that it's eerily quiet, be on high alert.
Is it because all the other animals have scattered?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they say that a smell of like dead, smell of
Like
death,
rotting flesh.
Yeah.
I currently don't know what that smells like. Do you?
It's awful.
Yes, it's terrible.
Like from what?
It's the worst smell you'll ever smell in your life.
She's saying, how do you know?
Yeah.
Oh, how?
Yeah.
I just know.
I've smelled dead animals.
Yeah.
Like dead animals that have been there a while. It's bad.
Ew.
It's really
We
bad.
opened up, I guess here's a good example. I was helping with a takedown. Remember I got my scar with that shed?
Yeah.
Guess what was in that shed in the middle of summer, just heating up with a bunch of flies and spiders all over it? Deer carcass.
Ugh.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
So,
Horrible. And I've been in a grease trap before.
ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, and the rotting flesh was easily the worst.
So
Sorry.
this is a pretty good skinwalker story. So they can mimic voices, and they can also like they're like shapeshifters. They can take other appearances. So I was reading one, and this is probably not real. Maybe it is. Who knows? It's these two guys, and they're backpacking through countryside, and they're going along, and they like find a stream, and they decide to fill their canteens in it because running water is usually cleaner than sitting water. Jesus.
Son of a bitch.
I hope she gets you back for that later. You probably scared the shit out of the 3 people listening to this too.
Ow, my leg.
Are you okay?
I think if it makes you feel better, he needed a diversion,
I
Yes,
distraction.
he did.
That's all for me. Jesus Christ.
Ow.
So these 2 backpackers they're going through. They find the stream. They decide to fill up in it,
Scared Lucy.
and so they bend down to fill their canteens. And one of them, he like realizes that there's this stench, and it smells absolutely awful. It smells like a dead body. So they dump out their canteens, what they filled, and they're like, well, might as well keep going ahead, see if we can find the source. So they keep going, and
This is around here?
maybe.
Damn it, Greg.
So they keep going, and they're just following the stream up, and they get to kind of like a cave, but it's pretty big. Like you can tell that there's probably an exit at the other end of some sort. The stream is coming out of that, so they go in, and there's this like these weird like grooves in the wall that could almost be steps. And like as they're getting closer and closer to the cave, they hear help, 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 and it sounds like it's coming through a radio. It's like almost mechanical.
Yeah.
Help.
It's like if you heard a recording of
Fuck.
somebody saying that.
Fuck.
So they're going in, and one of them is like, well shit, we got somebody's like hurt, we gotta go help them.
That's why you don't help people.
Maybe this is like and
Sorry,
and then the
Sean.
other one is like, well, this could be like, this is kind of sketchy, this could be a trap. And he's like, what are you talking about, man? So the one that wants to help, he runs ahead, and he runs up the steps, and he disappears from sight, and the sound stop, like the voice stops. So the guy is like, oh, so you found him, okay? So he starts to run after him, and then he hears his friend's voice going, help, 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 and that same kind of
This is a true story?
I don't know,
Fuck you, Greg.
same kind of mechanical,
Jesus
weird, almost sounds like a
Christ.
recording,
Ugh.
and yeah.
That's... Fuck. So
Oh,
scary.
no bueno.
So they were hiking?
Yeah.
Man.
Backpacking.
Canfield Mountain.
No, but there's that one in lore too. They were talking about how this guy went to walk his dog, and it's kind of the same thing, but he went to walk his dog, and there's this tall tale about these little people that live in the woods, and some say they're ghosts, and they essentially, like, they're about 3 feet tall, and they saw this guy walking his dog, and he just kind of stopped and froze, and the thing was like, "Hey, Kier,"
Yeah.
and the guy's like, "What the fuck?" And it's like, "Iachu, Kier." And he's like, "What the hell does that even mean?" He didn't know what it means. And so him and the dog just keep on walking and just keep rolling. And it's still calling to him that Iachu, Kier, and stuff like that. And so he gets back home and he's like, "What the hell was that?" He stayed up all night. He was thinking about it. And then he finally figured out that he was trying to, like, talk to him, like speak to him. And like he went after, like, kind of going through like what it sounded like. It sounded like that he was trying to say, like, "We want you, come here," like that kind of thing. Fuck that. Man, you need to move to the desert.
No, that's where skinwalkers are.
They're not in the forest?
They are.
Everywhere.
But they're mostly down in like Arizona.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's some wild shit out there. Like, so, oh man, like field cam stuff. Have you ever seen that? Like, if you put it, like, field cam photos of shit walking around in the woods.
I told you about Monjo's, right?
No?
Shout out Trevor Monjo. So he had a field cam up. He said he had to, like, hike. He had to, like, he busted his ass to get out where he put this camera. And I didn't see it, but multiple people attested that they watched it. So do you know what a field camera does?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's like watching his like the footage in it, and an old lady in a nightgown just walks past.
Man, fuck you.
Swear to God.
Come on.
Swear to God.
Man.
Again, I didn't see it, but all the people that have seen it that told me about
That
it
swear to
and
it.
weren't like at all like, yeah, man. They were like dead serious. This is terrifying. I don't know why that happened.
That's definitely around here.
Yeah.
Man.
Craziness.
Any last thoughts on ghosts on this spooky episode?
I think this was a good one.
Yeah, real fun. Good.
I think
Good.
Matt's favorite
we're all gonna
episode so
sleep.
far.
Great tonight.
Yeah, awesome.
Some nice thoughts.
Diana, any final thoughts on ghosts?
No, but my knee hurts. Because I hit it on the table when you were being stupid.
Well, this is just just our first foyer.
Foyer.
Our first.
Foyer is what you walk into in a house.
This is our first dive into all things.
I've had a bit to drink. My defense.
Well, Greg's naked for some reason. This is our first dive into some
Wanted to feel vulnerable.
Some spooky stuff. Join us next time.
Maybe we'll get into my dreams.
We'll maybe get into your dreams. We will be discussing more spooky things to celebrate the season of Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, as we call it. I do.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us on episode 6 of The Triple Scoop.